Okay, welcome to DeanBodi Show. How's everybody doing? Happy Memorial Day. Yes, a big thank you to the servicemen and women who give us our freedoms, who sacrifice their lives, you know, to so we can have a better life and have those freedoms that we enjoy and go and barbecue and all this other stuff and that kind of thing, etc. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Big prayers going out to the servicemen and women and their families. And may everybody have a safe Memorial Day. And we did a we did a short video earlier today talking about the ones that like to grill and barbecue, and some of them like to stink up the neighborhood, and how if you want to know more about what I said, visit the YouTube channel, DeanBodi Show, DeanBodi. It's one word, space show, and it'll pop up, YouTube channel. You'll see what I'm talking about, okay? Because these kind of fit together. That's kind of the way we're doing this format. I think it's fun. We do a much deeper dive and hit other topics when we do the podcast. And we really get into some other fun stuff. But the video is there. We get a little teaser, get a little setup. You get to see my crazy mug. And you see Bodhi in the background, who's my beautiful four-legged Shiba Inu, love of my life. And that's how we do it. That's the DeanBodi. Bodhi's 90% of this baby. I'm just 10%. I'm along for the ride. Bodhi is in charge. But on a serious note, Bodhi is my muse. Bodhi is my, my motivating factor. She's my driving force. Bodhi gets me moving. Bodhi gets me out of the house and walking around, and makes me stop and smell the roses once in a while. And we get to go chase a squirrel, and we get to look at a lizard on the tree and stop and look at the flowers. And when she says it's time for me to rest under a shady tree, and we're way over there 3-4 blocks away, well, we stop. And we watch the cars go by, and we just kind of decompress, and we clear our heads, and oh man, the list goes on and on. The benefits. Bodhi, cranking up the immune system. Yeah, that's what she's doing for me. Listen, COVID, Shmovid, pandemic, Shmandemic. Remember something. We're not afraid over here on this side because we're keeping our immune system strong. Eating clean, some supplementation, keep the positive mental attitude, keep the yucky yucks out of your life. You can't live off of Cheetos and Diet Mountain Dew. Okay? Can't do that. All right? Drinking plenty of clean water. Right? And some common sense in there. Right? Let's do that. And so when round 2 or whatever they're going to call it, 3, 4, who knows, phase 9, they'll probably keep going. Whatever. We're ready for it. Right? Your body needs germs to practice on. Right? So it can get a strong immune system. That's what it does. That is what it does. So, not only are we not afraid over here, and also remember, those of you that can understand what I'm about to say, I've been married before 4 years. Then it was over. Okay? I can handle that crazy ride. Oh boy. And it was. I'm not afraid of this pandemic, Shmandemic, COVID, Shmovid. Been married. Bring it on. Also, as far as the immune system goes, those of you that been to the bar scene, the nightclub scene, I was in the nightclub behind the bar for over 12 years, and we used to do something called a bar mat shooter. Those of you that don't know what a bar mat shooter is, well, I'm going to tell you. And you can put down one of those or a few of those in your career or your life. Oh, your immune system is just fine if you survive one of these crazy things. So when you're bartending, you have these rubber mats that you put your tin on and your shaker glass and your strainer, and your other stuff and tools that you need as a bartender to do the flair, to do the shaking, do the stirring, do the all the concoctions and the tossing back and forth and the flippity doodahs and catch them behind the back and behind the head and all this other stuff. Spin it around a few times, do the old Tom Cruise cocktail moves. I'll be getting to some of that stuff in the near future because we used to do it for real. And back in the day when that movie came out, man, we were all over it. Enter bartending contests and all. Yeah, I'm the real deal, okay? I'm telling you right now. And got some friends, and we're also the real deal in the business. And wow, what a great time we had doing that. But the bar mat shooter is at the end of the night when your shift is over, that bar mat would collect all of the drainings and the schmutz and the yuts and the yuck and the gunk. And you would take that thing, and of course, most of the time when you're cleaning up, and you got to clean your station really good, and you take that all that stuff and you put it down the drain. Sometimes if you have some kind of bet with somebody else, or you maybe had a contest that who's going to ring up more on their drawer, and who would ring up more and sell more, and then, whoever loses has to do a bar mat shooter, right? And you would pour all of that stuff that was in the mat. And we're talking cream drinks, and we're talking sour mix, and we're talking different juices, and the drippings of whatever else was in this glass, and Bailey's Irish Cream, and Kahlua, and tequila, and margarita mix, and cranberry, simple syrup. Oh, did I mention the cream and the half and half? And it gets a little curdly. It gets a little curdly, and it gets a little yucky. Put that in a shot glass, and you got to drink it. Oh, yeah, stand back as you look like you just saw a ghost, and you're waiting for the bottom to drop out, and you look around, and everyone's looking at you, cracking up. Like there's, like they never cracked up before, waiting for you to either throw it back up out of the other way, it's coming back up, or you just deal with it. And most of the time, you're okay, So, COVID, Shmovid, pandemic, Shmandemic. 1, I've been married before. 2, bar mat shooters, immune system is strong. Let's go. Okay? Let's go. Can't get all creeped out about everything around the sun. You remember these like investigator reports kind of shows? And they would go into like a hotel room and take like a black light or something like that and shine it around the room, and you'd see all the body fluids and all of the, who knows, what the bed bugs would leave behind and all this other stuff. You'd be like, whoa, how disgusting is that? If you took one of those lights and walked around your house or apartment now, you'd probably run out of there screaming and yelling. Let's get serious. The bottom line is hotels are pretty nasty. I don't care if they're nice or not so nice. You don't want the black light. You don't want to see all of that, man. You do not want to do that. And if you're a germaphobe, forget it. Forget it. If you're like a Howie Mandel who walks around with a hazmat suit on with gloves and brings his own sheets and puts them on the bed in a hotel and all that, you're at that level. This is no fun ride right now. All kidding aside, I feel for him. I feel for anybody who's that, crazy about all this stuff and's got that kind of phobia. It's brutal. But, just, know it's going to be okay. Your body can handle and endure way more than you think it can. But if you put it in an environment so it can be ready for that, meaning eating clean, at least the 90-10 rule, 90% do the right things, 10% treat. Not the other way around. Not 90% treat, 10% a little salad and a little fruit. I mean, come on. You can't do that. Drink plenty of water, 8 to 10 glasses. Oh, Dr. D dropping a little knowledge. What's that with the water? 8 to 10 glasses a day is a good start. Good clean water. I'm not drinking the tap water. Some people do. Depending on where you live, it's okay. As long as it doesn't smell. And it doesn't, number one, it doesn't smell like chlorine, or 2, whatever else it might smell like. But if it's got something that doesn't seem pleasant, not recommending that. Filtered water. spring water, come on, and get them down. And I get one of these like filters I put on the counter, one of these pure filters. I don't know, 99% of the whatevers it takes out. You don't want to take everything out, every mineral out, but at the same time, you don't want to drink the stinky. Okay? So the pure filter works out for me fine. I put it on the counter, I fill it, and it comes out the spigot. Works out really well. I don't have to buy cases of bottled water. Oh, man, that's probably saved me a bunch of money, That's what I do. All right? So that's a little drop of knowledge, little Dr. D tip of the day with the water. We talked about putting the lemon in the water. Do it. It's healthy. Does good stuff. All right? See the previous episode. Listen to the previous episode, and you'll hear the lemon water deal. DeanBodi Podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher. Okay? We're on the platforms. And so thanks for joining us. We're having a great time doing this, and we're going to be getting into the back in the day when I used to go bowling. Oh, man. And we got into bowling like you wouldn't believe. I'm going to say I must have been, when I was serious bowler, okay? It must have been, I'm going to say 12 years old, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right in there, we were bowling up a storm. We got our own balls, our own bag. We're on the bowling leagues. We had matching shirts. Way too much fun. We had a blast. And we go to the darn Carter alleys, okay? Out there, University Drive, over there towards Coral Springs, Florida. Shout out to the Don Carter. And on the other side of the neighborhood was the Brunswick. Down 441, down a ways. That must have been all the way. Oh gosh, where was that? All the way down towards. I don't know. That's a kind of a Coral Springs down on the other side of the town. But both of those places were a blast, And wow, I never had my own bowling shoes. Not sure why, but I never went there. Had my own ball, had my own fingertip grip in the holes. And man, you know what was cool? When you get your new ball and you go to the pro shop and you watch the guy drill the holes. They're customizing your ball. It's the coolest thing ever. And they're drilling the holes and, they're measuring your hand and they're hammering in the fingertip grip. They had fingertip grip and they also had semi-fingertip grip. And I'm pretty, my memory serves me correct, it was semi-fingertip for me, okay? Fingertip, a little more professional, not quite at that level, but we were like not on the low, amateur, but we weren't super pro. We weren't even semi-pro, really. But the semi-fingertip grip was working out good for me. And they also had different kinds. They had the white, which is the harder kind, the yellow, which was a little bit softer, a little more tacky, and that's the one that I went with because I threw a hook, which means that you really crank the ball and make it spin so it would curve. And man, back in the day, it was great. Back in the day, I was even into watching the bowling on TV. Sometimes I still do if I come across it as I'm channel surfing, But, we had guys with the big hook like back in the day, like Mark Roth. This guy would crank this ball. It looked like his arm was going to snap in two. He would crank it so hard. Go all the way out to the right side of the lane and come curving back in, and boom. Strikes, man. This thing would create so much pin action. It was like so cool to watch. You had you had Earl Anthony. Oh, this guy was so good. He was the lefty, from what I remember, the only lefty that there was, but he would kill it. Mr. Consistency in the pocket every single time. You had Marshal Holman, and Marshall was so like animated. When he got a strike, he would do that like fist pump and that elbow in, like, yeah. And he would have this face on him. Just intense, man. And he was one of those guys that he would take, like, more steps than And then most bowlers would do. Most bowlers, 1, 2, 3, 4, throw. Marshall would stand a little further back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then release. Super smooth and intense guy. I'll never forget that. These characters, man, were unreal. Now you see these guys with the two-handed release. We never did that back in the day. There was no two-handed release. You wanted to crank it, it was one hand, right? Then somebody came up, or if we were just joking around and you wanted to put extra spin on it just for goofing around, you would try it with two hands. Until Jason Belmonte came along. Now he's like probably the best bowler in the world, and he throws a two-handed ball. You want to talk about cranking and putting some spin on it and perfecting it, watch this guy. But bowling was absolutely awesome. And, you know what the funny part is for me? In your bag, you have all of the bowling stuff. It's like no other sport or game what you need when you need to bowl, because you're going to get blisters like on the base of your thumb. You need little bags of powder because your hands get sweaty and you walk up to the lane and you have that little air blow dryer that you put your hand over to dry your hand so it's not sweaty. Bowling's a trip, man. It's a trip. And I remember back in the day when we used to keep score by hand, and then I remember when it shifted over to the automatic scorekeeper. Wow. Bowling of the future. You think about the technology today as kind of back in the day, it was like nothing, but man, but anyways, in your bag, you had all this stuff. I remember having a liquid bandaid. This liquid stuff, you would put it on your base of your thumb, your blister, and it would harden like a skin. It would harden like a skin, like this fake skin, so you could keep bowling. Otherwise, you're going to rip the skin off. It's going to bleed, and you're going to be a mess. But all of these little things, you'd have to doctor yourself up with the liquid skin and all the powder in here and the powder in your hand and the rosin bag and the air dryer and taking your you had like a either you used a towel or you had like a sack which had a handle on each side. You put the ball in there and you'd spin it around, shine it up, get all the, let's just call them impurities, any little dusty wusties that are going to affect the accuracy of my ball. What a process. What a process. And every bowler has their own process, and it's just really unreal, man. And to get to the pro level, it used to be like if you were in a sanctioned bowling league, okay, you'd have to carry like a 200 average for 3 consecutive years in a sanctioned league in order to qualify for your pro card. Man, I never got at that level. I might have been like 180 average. And look, I was no slouch, but I wasn't at that level. But I had so much fun bowling. And it's been forever since I've gone, man. But, wow, that's the bowling thing, man. And you felt like, man, I don't know. Why didn't I get my own shoes? I have no idea. I never went there. And I never was the guy who carried the big bag in with the 2 balls. You got the one guy comes in as he at the next level of professional. He's got 2 balls in his bag. One of them is for the first throw, and then the other one is to pick up spares. Come on. One of them, and they're made out of different things. One of them hooks more and curves more, and the other one you don't want so much hook and curve. You just want to knock that spare pin down. Oh my gosh. What a process. What a process, man. And if you watch bowlers too, depending if you're righty or lefty, their forearm on the one side that they used to bowl with is a lot bigger than the other arm. It's like one's like a Popeye arm and the other one is like skinny and whatever, unless they work it out with weights. But you can spot a bowler somewhere if you look at that kind of stuff, man. But man, bowling was awesome. And that's the whole thing about that, man. And thanks for joining us today, at the DeanBodi podcast. And Thanks for walking down the memory lane with the bowling leagues, bowling apparatuses. Oh man, and the arm. Oh, one more thing, and the wrist braces you try to keep the wrist straight. And then you have one that doesn't keep it all the way straight and gives you a little flexibility. And I mean, it's like, what is going on? You're trying to find this magical combination so you can get a better score, whatever you can come up with the edge. Oh, and if they just oiled the lanes, that's a whole different animal too. Is the lane dry? Is it just oiled? I hate it when they just oiled the lanes because the ball's slipping and sliding all over the place. You're messing with my hook and my curve. The scores would totally plummet. Didn't like the oil. They put this machine on there. It looks like one of those robot vacuum cleaners. Covers the whole lane, goes up and down, puts the oil on there, and not my thing. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So thanks for joining DeanBodi. Remember DeanBodi podcast, wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, DeanBodi.com. Website's under construction. We're building things. We're getting closer to the call-in number as the professional recording is leaving the special voice on there and all that because it sounds better than mine. And it's going to be something a little bit different, kind of like we're building a team over here. Got Bodie. We got, I think the voice is named Lucy. I picked Lucy. I had a choice, and I like the way she sounded. We'll see how it comes out. And DeanBodi show on the YouTube channel, all right? Have a safe Memorial Day, all right? And if you're grilling out there, remember, KFC came up with 11 herbs and spices for a reason. That was enough. You that have the 31 spices and herbs on your special rub, stinking up the neighborhood, all right? Clean the grills. Clean the grills because you're stinky, okay? We'll see you next time. Remember, it's a Dean and Bodie show. Have a great day. Happy Memorial Day. Bye now.